Yo,
Going on, my guy?
my guy, Jake, what's up, man?
You been doing well?
I'm doing great. What about you? How's everything
Can't
going?
complain, man. Can't complain.
Hey, man, we miss you this summer, man.
Hey, man, I know. Trust me.
Hey, man, so my first guest, man, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. I'm sure a lot of people joining the live know who he is. You're one of those came from nothing stories. And being a guy who watched you over the last couple of years, I know your work ethic and how hard you work to get where you are. Kind of introduce yourself.
Yeah, man, I'm Jake Thomas. Came from Charleston, South Carolina. Played with Militon Hoops. Went to Oceanside Collegiate Academy. Now I'm with Moravian Prep and the YND Dreamers at OTE. That's pretty much it. I'm a rising senior, reclass back, so I'm a junior as of right now.
Gotcha. Now I
Yeah.
remember, I remember, quick before we get started, I remember you talking about reclassing when I first met you. But you were just trying to figure out the route. And as we go through this interview, I'm sure you'll be able to tell exactly how you got where you are now. So like I said, man, Jake, a lot of people don't know, man. A lot of people don't know my son is like a little brother to you. So like I said, just being like a big bro figure to him, I appreciate that, man.
For
So
sure.
growing up in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, how did you fall in love with basketball? Where did you get your love for basketball?
So when I was younger, my parents kind of just let us play all the sports,
Hmm.
and probably around like sixth grade, that's when I kind of decided that, I wanted to play basketball. Like, that was going to be my sport. And then, put me with the right people. And from there, just grinded it out.
For sure. Who were some of your biggest influences around that Charleston area?
First I had to give the shot to Trey McClain, Coach Trey.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, sure. A guy named Danny Johnson. He
Okay.
played at Clemson, played at College Charleston, played at the Knicks for a little bit. He kind of trained me, my first
No.
trainer, and still to this day, so definitely him. And then, just a lot of the Militant staff for sure.
Oh, okay. Okay. So a lot of that Middleton staff you knew growing up already?
I probably met Coach Trey when I was around eighth grade. Was the
Okay.
first time I really got around him. Like in open runs, private runs, pickup, and then obviously Militant when they started
Oh,
that team 16, you really came through.
okay. Okay. What point did you realize that basketball could be like you could take that somewhere? Like when did you decide like, okay, I'm locking in. I love this.
I would say probably around eighth grade. Like eighth grade summer, I went and played at Upward Stars Columbia and had some good showings on the junior 3SSB circuit.
Hmm.
And that's when I really started to realize that I can compete at this level. I can play here. Like, let's make it happen.
For sure. And I think that was my first time seeing you was when you was with Upward. I used to always ask, like, who is that kid that plays so hard? I didn't know you were from Charleston. I'm sure you get that a lot. People thought you was from the Columbia area. But then once, you know what I'm saying, once I came around Middleton, I said, oh, there he is right there. Like I said, I've been a fan of your game. So talk about your time at like Oceanside and Moravian. Like how have those stops shaped who you are today?
No, yes, Oceanside for sure. I'll give a lot of credit to Coach Q, where freshman year put me on varsity. I had a lot of things to learn, speed of the game, strength, weight room, develop my game.
Mhm.
And, sophomore, junior year, we had successful seasons, just fell short a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, and then from there, my big decision after junior year really came from, Moravian. I just need another year, with everything going on the transfer portal, how crazy it is at the next level now to get there. The next year was just going to give me time to develop everything I needed to develop some more. And then plus, just with like all of what Moravian has to offer as far
Mhm.
as like what they teach you there, the play style, like it just fit my game in a place I can really strive in to take the next jump.
Gotcha. When did you start getting attention outside of your city or your state? Like when did they start knowing who Jake Thomas was outside of South Carolina?
I would say probably after 16U militant season was when things, I played well, on
Mhm.
the UICL circuit.
Mhm.
And I think after that, that's when Moravian first reached out um, and then that happened and I took one more year at Oceanside. And from there, I think it was just the best decision for me to make the switch.
Mhm. What game was that when you felt like, oh yeah, I belong with the top players? I know you remember that game.
Yeah. Honestly, so there's two of them. So one, we were in Indianapolis with Militant, 16U. We played ISO Joe,
Okay.
and I've had a good showing there. And then another one was actually this year, was when I got my third start in OT Arena, and I first time playing point guard, and I had 18, 8, and 6 with zero turnovers,
Mm.
against RWE. So, that was the one where I was like, all right, like, I'm
Yeah,
meant to
I'm
be.
for sure, for sure. So like what went through your mind when like a program like Moravian reached out, especially like your generation playing OTE is like you're a pro. You get what I'm saying in a smaller perspective. But what was going through your mind? Were you like, this got to be a fluke, or were you like, oh yeah, I'm like that?
I think it was one of those where, so Coach Kai, also in Militant,
Hmm.
he played there, so
Okay.
they reached out, and luckily I had him by my side, to make some phone calls and figure everything out. So I really knew what I was walking into. And, like I said, I'm one of those guys. I'm big on a big winning culture. I want a winning culture. I want dudes that work hard. I want to be around that type of atmosphere, and that's what Moravian is. So as far as me going to Moravian, I didn't know what OT looked like because when you go there, nothing's promised as far as being on
Hmm.
OT or whatever. So when I first got there, my goal was just to make the next jump. Obviously do all the little things that are going to separate myself from the rest of the guys. But my main focus was let's just get better and let's take this year to really progress and take the jump.
So like the one thing, like anybody knows your game, they know that about you. You have that mindset of I'ma always take the next step. Where do you get that from? Like where do you get I'ma be the hardest working guy on the floor every night?
So I mean, I guess so. Me being me, I'm not the most athletic. Probably don't have the best jump shot. Probably don't have the best handle. Probably not the best defender. But not especially these days, not a lot of people want to do the little things. Not a lot of
Hmm.
people want to rebound. Not a lot of people want to be vocal on the court. You know, operate. So I just try to do all those things. So as far as the coach explaining something in practice, I make sure I know it right away. So I'm leading others and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So I just try to do all the little things that are going to separate myself to give me the minutes I need. And then
Hmm.
from there, so I mean, with me not being the most athletic and all that, I have to really hone in on those certain things to separate myself.
Hmm. So like of course you said Coach Cobb, but when you was making that next step, let me ask you this first. If you would have stayed in Charleston, would you have stayed at Oceanside, or was it another situation that you were interested in joining?
Uh, I probably was. I mean, that's a good question. Uh, you know, I mean, it could be a bunch of what ifs. What
Hmm.
if this happened? What if that happened?
Hmm.
But I wasn't really even looking at leaving the school at the time.
Hmm.
I just got the text, and then from there, I got on a phone call and then took a visit, and it kind of just took off from there. But I'm not a big believer in making lateral moves.
Hmm.
So, so like if you're gonna make a move, it has to be for the better of yourself. You know, so I just feel like going from a place in Charleston to another place in Charleston
Hmm.
would be in somewhat a lateral move.
For sure, for sure.
So if
It,
I was gonna make the move, I wanted to, make it count.
for sure. If it was one move you was talking to me about last summer, that would have been scary. My
It
God, hey,
would have been.
5 day would have been in trouble. So going back, so you said you, of course, Coach Kai, but who else like did you lean on for advice going the prep route?
Obviously, the guy Dan Johnson I mentioned earlier, he was a big part of it. I really just everyone that I knew I had in my circle that had the best interest for me, I
Hmm.
made that phone call. And pretty much everyone from who I called said, leave. Like, this is the best move for you. Like,
Hmm.
go. So once I heard that, I talked to my parents. They understood where I was coming from. And once all that happened, then it was kind of a done deal, like, no brainer for me to
Hmm.
go.
So what made OTE? Well, I know when you got there, you were on the varsity team, but once you became like OTE, and you signed, like what stood out about that compared to the traditional route?
I think just as far as talent, right? So you're really, I mean, every night you're stepping on the court, top 100 guys, right where
Hmm.
you put it, 6'9", 6'10". long, athletic.
Hmm.
The size of the court, 94 feet,
Hmm.
international 3-point line. So it's really just all next level stuff. So it's hard to compare that because I mean, it's better. It gets you ready for the next level. Right? So
For
prep
sure.
school, like it was basically me doing my freshman year before I did my freshman year in
Hmm.
college. You know, so that was just the big difference was just the size, the athleticism, size of the court, like just all those things that play a factor.
So, were there any times during this process where you could have folded, like as far as adversity, that you could have been like, "Yeah, this ain't for me. Maybe I can just go back home and go play at Oceanside."
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a time where I said this wasn't for me. You know, I mean, there's definitely times where adversity hit and it hit hard because a lot of things that necessarily normal high school kids don't understand. Because
Hmm.
once you get to this level, it's also a business, so you're only as good as you produce, right? So,
Hmm.
I mean, you could 1 minute you're playing well, they love you. Next minute you have two bad games, and now you're eighth man off the bench.
Mm.
So it's only as well as you produce. So being an 18-year-old kid trying to figure that part out of it, that was the most difficult thing for me was just how can I show up every day and be a consistent dude.
Hmm.
And then,
Hmm.
so I mean, I would say, I mean, there's just a lot of things to the game that I would say I didn't know being in Charleston or being in public high school, that there's a whole another business side to this game.
Hmm. And like I said, with your mental, your tenacity, you always carried yourself like that. Like you used to show up to Middleton practices like I can get cut today. I mean, but playing for a coach like Coach Trey, you can get cut today. So that's one thing that I like about him. So what was your first day like stepping into that OTE environment? Was it like a culture shock?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about first day I showed up to Moravian.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
It was a little different, man. I mean, it was a little different. We had 26 dudes in the gym. 26
Mm.
dudes. We had 2 days with the team, and then we had individual shooting workouts at night. So I mean, it was definitely different college schedule. You don't go to
Mhm.
class, so all you're really doing is playing basketball.
Yeah.
So and then no fouls, no out of bounds.
Oh,
It's
that's
just,
Charleston basketball. You should have felt at home.
yeah. So I mean, it definitely. And I mean, it was a good time. Though. I don't, I enjoy every memory I have there.
So how has your game evolved since going there?
I would say just taking the next jump as far as like we all knew, Charles is one thing, like my jump shot, being able to shoot the three ball,
Hmm.
uh, being able to be more of like a 2-3 instead of just a four, so it's
Hmm.
my ball handling, my jump shot, like I think those are probably the two main things as far as that, like towards the end of the season, I was playing point guard 70% of the game,
Hmm.
60% of the game, and then like in the playoffs, I shot 62% from three. So,
Mm.
like, as far as those things, I feel like those are the two things where I can, like, really say, like, it was worth my time that those things got developed. And now, plus, I have a whole nother summer to show how those things got developed.
For sure, for sure. Who's been your toughest matchup so far? Since you've been there, that you like, man, there's no way this dude is good.
Toughest matchup.
I'm sure you watch Isaac and be like, bro, this dude too good, bro. Like,
I mean, I'm definitely, yeah, I mean, I would say, honestly, Austin Gooseby out of Phase Dynamic
okay,
Prep, he was going to
okay.
Texas. He's, 6'6" guard. And, you feel like you're there, but then he just hits the shot, man. I mean, it's one of those. There's a couple dudes like that in the league, though. Who are that skilled, but he's probably the most efficient.
Give me your top three. Give me your top three. Who you like? Yeah, this dude like that. How,
Um,
how good is your guy Asher that you be looking for, man?
hey man, no comment, no comment on that. No comment. Uh, I would probably go. So I would go Austin Gooseby.
Mhm.
Uh, I would probably go most of. Caden Daughtry out of
Okay.
Fear of God in
Hmm.
Florida.
Kaden like that.
Um, yeah, he is like that. And then I'll probably also have to go. Dakari Spears,
Oh
who
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Who's going to
Oh yeah.
Texas Tech?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he like that.
So
So
no, yeah.
what separate guys like who succeed in OTE? Like what separate those guys?
What'd you say? Can you repeat that?
I said what separates the guys who succeed in OTE? Like,
Uh, you can't pimp the game. A
oh
lot of
yeah.
some of those dudes try to pimp the game. They feel like they made it already. Take a few days off. I feel like the dudes who are the most consistent, who put the time in to the game, are gonna be the guys that succeed. You know. So I mean, like dudes like the two phase guys I named, those guys are in the gym constantly.
Hmm.
Caden Daughtry in the gym constantly. Dudes like Isaac Ellis spend 6, 7 hours in the gym a day.
Hmm.
So it's like it's hard to beat that. Those guys are putting that many hours in a day.
For sure. And so, like, with you naming all of that talent right there, how do you stay locked in mentally with it, knowing that you're around that much talent daily? Like, because that can either be inspiring or that could be deflating. So, how do you stay locked in mentally with all that talent around daily?
Yeah, you just gotta be about the right things, day in, day out. You gotta have the right mindset. You can't let all that distract you because at the end of the day, I gotta go play at the next level. And
Hmm.
I don't and as of right now, I don't have that yet. So I still have to keep my mind on the main goal. So you can get caught up in the whole OTE this, OTE that, but at the end of the day, like I'm on a mission to get
Yeah,
somewhere. And then
for
you can
sure.
also take things from those guys. Like you can learn from dudes like that. Like you can sit down and have conversations.
Hmm.
Like how'd you get good at this? Like what drills did you do? What this,
Hmm.
that, and the third. That you can take things from those guys and then the guys that get lost and all that are the kind of those guys who don't really pan out the next level, or kind of just fall off.
So now you playing from playing Nike AAU to playing UA. What's the difference in that? Like, do you see a big difference?
I mean, we had one on normal session. I would say the one thing I would say that's a big difference is the Nike refs let you play a lot more than Under Armour refs do.
Hmm.
It gets a lot more physical on the Nike circuit.
Hmm.
And then, as far as being EYCL, I mean, that was just a dogfight every game. Like we're no matter from best team in the bracket to worst team, it didn't matter. Like you would go
Hmm.
to war for
Hmm.
32 minutes.
So speak on that, man, because a lot of people think when they think I said I talked to Levi about this. So like when people think EYCL, they thinking they walk into a cakewalk. Speak on that. Can you please tell the audience what EYCL is?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a cakewalk by no means. Anyone who says that, they can text me. We can have a debate on that
For
all
sure.
day long. But I mean, it's definitely. I would say as far as those dudes are trying to get to EYBL, whether it's just
Yep.
players. So for us players, we want to get to Peach Jam so we can really show that we're at that level. So
Hmm.
we can play again for those coaches. And then as far as programs, those coaches want to get to EYBL. Whether it's for more money, for more players, or whatever it may be. Like, so it's really just competitive nature.
For
It's
sure.
just a competition. Like when you step on the court, yeah, we might not have all the 5 stars, all the 4 stars, but you have a bunch of dudes, underrated guys who are hungry for
Hmm.
something that they don't have.
Hmm.
And then I mean, as far as EYCO dudes, like I'll just name the dudes off my team. You have Levi Ball who's going to a mid major,
Yep.
Grayson Stockman, Jaquel Brown who are going to good D2s.
Hmm.
You have Jackson Conley who's going to Morehead State, which is another D1, and then you have Clayton Everett Jr. going to South Carolina State and a so called, and then you have me and OT, but. And then we have another kid who we played with team final, who is the worst team in our thing, 16U.
Hmm.
And now he has 5 divisional offers, and we're trying to recruit him to the Dreamers right now. So it's like, so you can say whatever you want about the UICL, but at the end of the day, like it's sending dudes to college.
For sure, for sure. On the 17U now, you got Jackson Terrell. He's a 4 star. You got
Yeah,
Kobe Sims. He's a 3 star guard.
Bryce
You
Ward.
got Bryce Ward, another 3 star guard. You got Kyle Paris, who is another 3 star. You know what I'm saying? So you got
Yeah,
real talent in that EYCL.
I like
Um,
that team a lot. Also,
oh yeah, that team gonna be really
I
good.
like that team.
They was hoping that you came.
I know, man. I know. I was talking to Coach Trent, man. I mean, it's a business
Uh,
these days.
I feel you on that, man. You got to do what's best for you. So, what's the ultimate goal for you? NBA, college. Like, what's the ultimate goal?
That's a good question. And, how I live life is I go one step at a time.
Okay,
So my next goal is get to the next level.
got you.
You know, and once I get to the next level, then obviously the next goal from there is going to be go pro. So right now my mindset just how do I get to the next level?
Got you. So, do you have any colleges like strongly looking to recruit you?
Not too much. I mean, it's just a weird landscape these
It
days.
is.
Really weird. I mean, once the live periods kick off, if I go put on good performance, play well, I should be in a good position.
Hmm.
Um,
In which I have no doubt in it. I'm sure I'm surprised Citadel or College of Charleston and nobody right there at home is looking at a talent right there in
I
their
know, I mean,
backyard.
it's
But
tough.
so what do you want people to say about Jake Thomas when it's all said and done?
And the one thing I like to is just a winner. He wins. You can put him on the floor with different type of dudes, whatever you want. He's just he's gonna win. He's gonna win your games one way or another.
For sure. So I got a couple of hot take questions before you get out of here. My first one would be if you could get any game back in your high school career, if you could get that game back today, what would you do different and what game is
Oh, that's a tough.
that?
I'll probably go the Great Collegiate Game sophomore year state championship lost by four.
What would you do different if you get that back today?
Quan McDuffie. On our scouting report, it said if there's gonna be one guy who let him shoot, and he hit two threes in the fourth quarter, like two big
Oh,
threes in the fourth quarter. Uh, so I mean, maybe if we could just close out a little higher,
I got you.
maybe
I
make the
got you.
drive, make him move. That one hurts. That one still hurts me to this day.
Yeah, for sure. Next question: if you could build a team of seven, you can have a starting five and two off the bench of players you have played with from Oceanside to Middleton Elite to Moravian. You taking this seven to a run. Um,
Sure, bud.
yeah. So I'm gonna throw a sound bite out there. I'm not sure if you've seen. I had a playbook open run in CSRA. I'm taking it to the Low Country.
I
You're a Low
saw that.
Country guy.
I saw
You're
that.
a Low Country guy. I might
Hey,
need you
I,
to make
I
that
need the
trip.
dates. I need the dates. If
I
I'm in
got you.
town, I'm there. If
I
I'm in town,
got you.
I'm there.
So these are your seven guys that you bring into the open run. Who
Uh,
you taking?
so we're playing positionless basketball, okay?
Okay,
We're playing
got you.
positionless basketball. At my one, I want Isaac Ellis.
Okay, smooth.
At my two, I want Caleb Jones.
Mm,
Playing the Dreamers with us.
hmm.
Uh, at my three, I want Levi Ball.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
And then the last two spots could be me and Josh Leonard.
Because you played with Josh on Upward. You did. Yeah.
Yep. And
And then
then
who your two guys coming off the bench?
and off the bench, I want Caden Coleman
Okay. Oh my God.
and
From Greenville.
yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want-
he one of those ones.
And then that last spot, give me Matt Allen.
Okay. And then all right, so I'm gonna add a caveat in there. So at my
Uh,
runs, each team have a coach. Who's coaching that squad?
oh, you already know the answer to that, Coach Trey. Bring him on.
Coach. Hey man, I wonder how Brayson gonna feel about this, man. I know that's one of your best friends. I wonder how you gonna
Yeah,
feel about
that's my boy, man. That's my boy.
it.
He's gonna understand. He's gonna understand.
For
We play
sure.
play
For
a lot
sure.
of high. I play a lot of high level point guards.
Hey, for sure, man.
I mean, him or Caden Coleman can be flipped.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just thinking, Caden's just one of those dudes. It's
Yeah.
hard to keep him out of there. It's hard to keep him out of there.
For sure, for sure. So my last question, man, and I hope you can make one of these happen. So who would you like to see on the pod next? And whoever you say you gotta help me get them.
You said I can hope. You said I hope I can make one of these happen. So you already have
Yeah.
someone in mind.
Uh either Coach Ellis or Ozzy. I know that's tough. But
That is tough.
but if you got somebody realistically, who would you like to see on and who can you help me get? You can give me a
Name me
couple of
another
guys
person. Those two, the business man,
for
business.
sure, for sure.
Yeah, they move. This is a business to them. But I mean, I could get you some of the dreamers.
Yeah, just
Uh,
hit me with a
you
guy.
want Caleb Jones?
Okay, I'll do Caleb.
I can get you Caleb. And you want anyone in South Carolina? Who you looking?
Who you want? Who you like to see? Who you want to hear from?
We already got Coach Trey. We
Yeah,
already got him. Covered him.
Brayson,
Uh,
Brayson, one of my nephews, but I can't get in
yeah, we
touch with
need. You can't get in touch. Oh,
him.
I'm about to make that happen. We
uh,
gotta make it happen. Yeah, I'm gonna
that'll
make that
work.
happen. And
That'll
I'll
work.
get you. And I'll hit up Caleb Jones.
All right, that'll work, man. I appreciate you,
Uh,
man. Hey,
yeah,
man,
for sure.
good luck with everything. I'm actually gonna make it to Atlanta to come see you sometime this season.
Will
Um,
you
I,
let me know? I'll get you tickets.
hey,
You
for
let me
sure.
know.
That's love. That's love. Got your guy, Coach Wade, on here. Hey, man, speak on
Yeah.
Coach Wade, man. People don't understand your relationship with Coach Wade, also, man.
Yes, honestly, he's a 16U coach last year. Never played under him, although I wish I had a game or two under him. But just energy. He's big on the little things,
For
and
sure.
especially for a guy like me who's big on the little things, who plays that way.
Hmm.
I think I would love to play under him.
For
And
sure.
a lot of people would love to have a coach like him who really. It's hard to find coaches who really have passion and love the
Hmm.
game for the right
Hmm.
reasons. And, he just loves it for the right reasons. He could go get
Yeah.
a coaching job, a college coaching job somewhere else.
Hmm.
All that. But I mean, he loves it, loves the
For
game.
sure. That's what I tell those 17U guys this year. They got the luckiest two great coaches. Like they getting to pay under Coach Wade and Coach Trey at one time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
they
jealous. I'm jealous.
Hey man, Dick, man, I appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great night. Man, call me if you
Yes,
ever
sir.
need anything, my guy.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Yeah.